Hello, this is Kael Wu, and I'm here recording my debut album called Heavily Modified. And please allow me to introduce my band.
Beeswax Music 风辣音乐
Here we have Brad Williamson on bass. Do you want to talk a little bit about the rig you're using and the signal chain?
Sure. So, I'm using two basses today. One being the wechat Paddock 6-string headless fretless, and this one they don't usually make this in this model in this kind of design with the fretless and the active pickups. But I talked to the luthier Adrian wechat, and we worked out a deal where he had a fretless snakewood neck and active pickups to my specifications, which is really great. And then I'm also using this Warwick thumb bass neck through, as you can see on the back, 5-string, which is just a unmodified.
Wow, so
Warwick.
it's purely stock.
Yeah, this is a purely stock. You can't really find them anymore because they only really make the bolt-ons now. But I got this one used at a Sam Ash a couple years ago, and I use this one for more like metal fretted sound, this one for more
It's
unique.
got a very beefy neck.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. What about the pedals?
So as far as pedals,
Whoa, we don't want another instrument crash.
In that case, saved it.
Yeah, that case is it.
So as far as pedals, I'm going relatively basic today. So I'm running my bass into this Zoom bass multi-effect, which I have on this patch octaver pedal, bass equalizer, a compressor, and a noise gate, which I have running at all times. And I haven't really used any of these today, but I use them for live performances a lot. And then I have that running into this Soundblocks 2 Manta bass filter, which is an envelope filter on one side, and on the other side is a distorted filter that I have running to what's called a hot hand, which is what this is. This is the receiver for that, and it's sort of like an expression pedal, but it's a ring that you put on your finger, and you can move it up and down, side to side, in and out, and that controls the LFO on here, so it makes it sound like a dubstep bass, kind of. And then I have that right into the Boss PS6 Harmonist, which I use as exclusively for the Super Bend feature, which is where it acts as a whammy pedal and just goes like a couple octaves up or a couple octaves down, like a whoop kind of thing.
Oh, that's what that is. Actually,
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of that sound.
Oh yeah, it's great, and haven't really found a use for that in this context yet, but I'm sure I will. And then I have that running into one of my favorite pedals of all time, the Dark Glass Alpha Omega Distortion, which is one of their more recent distortions. And what's so great about it is it has two distortion circuits, the Alpha and Omega. And you can choose between full Alpha or full Omega with this mode, or the modulation knob, and then it has a 3-band EQ, growl and bite switches, and blend, which you can blend the distorted signal with your clean signal. So I have it running on a pretty high drive, and then a pretty flat EQ, a little bit of treble and mid boost. But I have it running on a really high drive and a really low blend, so it really only kind of tickles the top end and keeps the bottom end nice and punchy. And then I have that finally run into this Horizon Devices Tokyo Drive, which is the limited edition run they did of their Horizon Drive, or Precision
Drive.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And I use that to get a really punchy, attacky sound, because I don't really use, as you can see, I don't really have the drive set to anything, but I have the brightness and volume turned up as well as the attack and gate, because I use this really for like slap sections or any kind of passage that requires me to stand out.
Boost.
Yeah, I use it as a boost for the most part, but the problem is it cuts a lot of my low end, so I tend not to use it for a boost in that sense. I tend to use it as more of a boost in like I need like a fill here, or like if I'm doing like a slap section on one part and I need a bit more pop, I'll use it there.
Okay.
And of course in breakdowns I use it a bunch.
Yeah, definitely. And that's Brett, and thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thank you.
And next up, we have Rina Komoto, or Komoto Rina-san on keys. And hi, she's a wonderful player, and actually we met in a Japanese class. She was my Japanese tutor, so I know a little bit of Japanese, but not too much. So Lena, do you want to talk to us about the keys you were using?
So this is guitar, and
Right, I can tell by how it hangs over there.
so I'm a piano player, and this is very new to me.
Huh.
I got this a few months ago, and just start learning it.
So it's actually
So-
wireless, is it?
It can be wireless. I'm using it.
Oh, so that's a power cable?
This is a USB.
Oh, that's a USB, okay.
Yeah.
So you can control the EQs over there, or?
Yeah, this is just a MIDI controller.
Okay.
So yeah,
Alright.
this sends a MIDI signal to the laptop, and
Okay.
the actual sound comes from here.
Oh, so you're controlling the sound with the
Yeah.
laptop. Okay. Great.
So I don't know much.
Yeah. So this is a guitar, which
Yeah.
is really cool. It looks like it's a keyboard, but you can play it like a guitar, which is you can stand and play because usually people play the keys sitting down or standing behind. Which is not super cool. What's cool is hanging very low and do all the crazy rocky genty stuff. So anyway, thank you very much for tracking with me. And next up, we have Jordan Clark on drums.
Hey, how's it going?
Jordan, do you want to talk to us about the drums you were using?
Absolutely.
And
So
that-
today, Q Division hooked us up. We have a Black Beauty on for a snare drum. It's a Ludwig snare used in several recordings. Beautiful snare. We have a kind of a mutt arrangement. We have a DW kick drum and Maryland Drum Company toms, which sound phenomenal under these microphones. Cymbal choices, mostly Zildjian, aside from this Sabian Ride right here, which was kept on because it's a very nice bell to have. It cuts right through the mix, so I decided to keep that on for today. Drumsticks, I use Vic Firth X55B because they have the fatness for the grip, and they're light enough to throw around, so it's not as heavy as most sticks this size. So I use these to get around, and of course you can clearly see Remo drum heads on these with some muting from Moon Gels. So that's how we got our sound today.
All right. Actually, I have one question.
Yep.
Is it pronounced Vich Firth or Vic Firth?
I always call it Vic.
Huh. It's kind of strange because
Yeah,
people
that's just me.
have a different pronunciation for that thing. But anyway.
Where's the H?
Okay. I have no clue. I don't speak. It's probably coming from a European language.
Or maybe it is some.
Probably. I have no clue. I'm just saying. I'm glad.
I've never heard that before until today, so I just didn't know.
Oh,
I was like,
really?
Vic Firth? I was like, where's the H? And it's just
Okay. Anywho, that's our drummer, Jordan, and
Absolutely.
he plays phenomenal drums, and you'll see when the record comes out. And anywho, next up, my lovely colleague Aussie or Oscar Chin is gonna ask me about my rig, which is pretty awkward. I'm gonna pretend that
You don't know it. I don't
I've
know
been
it.
sitting here all the time. All right, come over.
Want to do it in English or Chinese?
Of course, English.
So, could you tell us a little bit about this awesome guitar you have here?
Yeah, I use it for most of the tracks in my album, and this is from the good people from Leaky, and yeah, it's actually a custom-made guitar in terms of electronic layouts, and this is the new shape they came up with after I talked to them about you guys probably need a new shape or a very inventional shape for single cut guitars. So this is what they came up with, and this actually has a fairly beefy neck. So it's more towards the 59
Yeah.
or
So it has the cut though.
yeah, it has a huge cutaway in the back. So which is very convenient if you're like a upper fret level, upper position shredder like me. Actually, I don't particularly favor the term shredder because that makes me feel like I'm brainless shredder, and all I can do is play fast, which is partially true and partially not so true because I'm really trying to create different rhythm different melodic ideas, and anywho, these pickups are actually leaky pickups as well, and these are, I believe, Tone Pro's bridges, or they actually lock down. So this they call it the Tunomatic bridge and tailpiece. So this is pretty cool. So instead of drill a few holes in it, so I have the tailpiece to keep all the string ends. Anyway, and it's called
kill switch.
And a kill switch, and I actually have it carved down a little bit. So when I do the tapping thing, I don't accidentally hit the kill switch. And it's got jumbo frets and stainless steel jumbo frets actually, and they last forever, and they feel really good. But I heard they're a pain in the ass to install. And I've got the flamed maple inlays and flame maple binding, flame maple top, and flame maple neck, and flame maple.
What's these two pieces?
They're mahogany,
Oh, okay.
so it's like mahogany, flame maple, mahogany, three-piece. And I've got the flame maple headstock to match the body. So this is a very overwhelming piece, actually, and I love it. I use it a bunch in the record. And the next one I'm going to show you is actually a pretty bizarre one, because this was the thing I tried to fulfill my fanhood of Greg Howe. I'm a huge fan of Greg Howe, and I've been studying with him for the past year or so, and he's been super cool, and I really dig his guitar model, which is from the good people at Kael. So the good thing about Kael is that you can actually customize the artist series. So even this is like a Greg Howe signature model, but still I can get a lot of input in the design or the actual structure of the guitar. So
24 fret.
24 frets. So this is actually a standard Greg Howe preference for this model. And I've got a 5-piece neck. I think these two are Bubinga stripes. And the other threes are maple, regular maple. And I've got locking tuners and a reverse headstock. Yeah, that's where the beauty is. And the regular maple fingerboard, which has a little bit of bird's eye to it, but not too much, not too overwhelming. And I've got the glow in the dark side markers, which is really useful if I play in the dark places like clubs or places like that. And shut up. Anywho, for the pickups, these two are the Kael pickups. They are a true single coil, and they sound very spanky. And
So not noiseless.
they're not noiseless. So in order to keep the hum down, I have to use the fourth and second position a lot. So when they work together, it actually keeps the hum down. And what else can I tell you?
Bridge, 55
Oh,
junior.
Yes, it's called a small or a small 59 or stuff like that. So it's basically a SH1H SH1 and neck.
No, B. It's 'cause it's
SH1B, but in a much smaller
in a
package.
single size.
Yeah, but it's actually slightly bigger than a regular single, right? And it's a humbucker, and so it cuts off the hums pretty well. And the good thing about this particular guitar is that the volume knob is actually much further than the regular Stratocasters. So when I pick, I tend to hit the volume knob on a regular Fender Strat. So this one eliminates that possibility, which makes things a lot easier. And I've got jumbo frets, and this one I believe is 14-inch radius for the fingerboard, and it's got a jumbo stainless steel frets as well, and it sounds killer. So
It also has that cut back there.
what's that?
Like here, the cut.
Oh yeah. The neck heel. So this one is slightly more accessible than the regular Fender
It's like
Strat.
a Strat access body.
Yeah, Yeah, almost like that. So I think Fender these days are making pretty cool neck heels as well. So yeah, that's pretty much my guitars.
All right. Pedals?
Pedals. Oh, by the way, this is a standard tremolo, vintage tremolo bridge. So I rarely use tremolo. So yeah. Anywho, let's talk about the pedals. For the most time, I love the sound of the Sir Eclipse. I love the sound. Actually, it has two sides of distortions, which both circuits are actually the same. Which initially I thought that's pointless, and then I feel like this could actually be very useful because it's almost like two channels of a single amplifier. So it makes things a lot easier. But I'm not running it at the moment. Right now, my distorted sound is all coming from the Greg House signature distortion pedal, which is called the Lake Box. I'm gonna probably move it around a little bit. Yeah, the Lake Box from Carl Martin, and they are a really good company for making distortion pedals. So we have on the left, it's a clean boost, which just boosts the signal, and which make everything sounds louder and fuller, so to give it like a more mid-range. And the middle part is more like a crunchy overdrive tone for everything, I guess. So usually I would keep this on, and just in case I need a louder clean tone, I would boost it a little bit. And on the right side says high gain, and therefore it is mainly for the distortion sound. So it actually sounds really, really warm and really full. So if I want like a rhythm sound, I would usually tend to favor this side of the pedal. And if I want to get like a solo sound, I would actually trigger both of these together. You can see the hum, so I'm gonna skip. So this is a really cool pedal for studio use, for live performances. And next up, we have the Providence Anodyne Chorus. This is probably the most beautiful and expensive sounding pedal I've ever heard. So this is like a chorus pedal, but it's pretty standard, and I usually tend to keep the speed relatively low, so it has that very flavorful, very I don't know, very dynamic chorus instead of all the crazy yeah, exactly. Anywho, and next up we have the Wampler spring reverb. It says it's a spring reverb, but it's actually digital, so it's simulating the sound of a spring reverb. So instead of having a spring, it has like a very unique circuit design. So I have it set relatively low, and I actually have it on pretty much all the time, just to give my dry signal a slightly some moist, I should say, give it like a moist feel, so I don't feel like, oh my god, that signal feels like I'm naked. Anywho, and next one is the TC Electronic Flashback Mini, and I'm not using this at the moment because in the record I would add on the delay later on, probably, because just for easy on the production side. And that's pretty much all the rig I have on for now. And for the headphone, I'm using the customized earplugs or in-ear monitors from 64 Audio. This is actually I think was only like 3 drivers, so they're not like too expensive, but it gets the job done very, very well. And I think that is everything. Oh, and for amplifiers, the bassist is actually running in DI, and I think we're gonna reamp it later on.
really sick.
For the amp, I'm actually using an actual amplifier. You know, these days. Whoa. That standby? Okay. So these days, people will usually prefer like a Camper or a Axifax, but I'm still being old school and using an amplifier. And at the bottom we have the the 2003, which is actually it's JMP 2003. So instead of the JCM, this is like the earlier model of the JCM. So it sounds really cool, but then actually I was gonna use this for the record, and later on this one showed up. This is actually a JMP tremolo 50 watts, so it sounds killer. And as you can see, I'm not channeling any inputs or different channels. I'm mainly using the clean sound of this amp, and it sounds really good. And I'm getting all the distortion and overdriven sound from my pedals, and this is like a super good stage amp, or yeah, let's put it that way. It's a very good clean amp and stage amp, and it takes pedals really well. And down there we have the slanted, I think Marshall
1968.
Yeah, 1968. Thank you for that. I think it's got the is it the V30s?
No, it's the Ingve Malmsteen speaker.
Oh, it's the Ingve speaker. So which spice things up a lot actually. So I've chosen the slant model, which for some reason I usually prefer the sound of a slant model. And anywho, it's a 4x12, as you can probably see, and that's all the stuff I have to say. Thank you very much, and keep watching Beeswax Music, and until next time.